I'm legally insane, and it's time to address the elephant in the room. And I'm not talking about your mother. Not this time. I'm not talking about the fact that my wife left me and took the kids either. She took the kids. Woke up one day, they're all gone. But she didn't take my Nintendo Switch games, and that's where she made a mistake. Because I have a retro game collecting and a Nintendo Switch game collecting addiction, and I suspect that anybody subscribed to this channel also has the same addiction. Although you might be in denial, you can be in denial. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not here to judge you, other than the fact that you do have the addiction and you are in denial. But yeah, she left me with my Switch games, so that's what we're here to talk about today. I got 4 more Switch games coming at you. Some of these are rare, some of these are expensive, and other games in this list you have never heard of in your entire life. I just about guarantee everybody watching this video, there's going to be at least one game you didn't know about. We got cheap games, we got fun games, we got rare games. We got a little mix of everything. Let's get started. First up, we got a game that is already rare. A very early limited run games release. Number 10, I believe, on the Nintendo Switch. Number 10. I don't know if the camera picked that up, but that's number 10. Published by Night School, or developed by Night School, which was later acquired by Netflix Studios. Netflix, the streaming service, now owns the company that made this game because Netflix is getting into the gaming business. If you didn't already know that one. And there's another reason Netflix got this too. I'll get into more of that later. But this is a graphic adventure game that many would call a narrative adventure game. Narrative-driven game. It's not a visual novel. It's not a visual novel, but it has similarities to that of a visual novel because it is a narrative-driven game. There is no combat. The game is essentially a movie that you play out with what they call the walk and talk mechanics. Okay, so it's unique. It's a movie that you play out, but there are no cutscenes, and that's why it's fully interactive. The gameplay never stops for the most part. As you walk around and explore the island that you are on and explore the environment and unravel the mystery going on that I'm not going to reveal, the game is playing out its narration and the storyline, and the characters are talking. 100% voice acted, some of the best voice actors in the world because they did a good job. As the dialogue occurs, you will get the dialogue will occur in clouds. So to show you like text clouds of the options that you can select to reply to, because you are playing the main character, Alex. You are on this island with your friends. Alex is female. And you are selecting, as these conversations are happening in real time, as you're walking around, you can select one of 3 options to reply to, and all of these options can affect and will affect the story and the ending that you receive. And that's why multiple playthroughs can be had here, because there's so many different directions each of the conversations can go in, and more story is revealed based on the answers that you chose. Or you might not choose an answer, because guess what? You get a very limited time to select your dialogue, buddy. Sometimes the time is so limited, you don't even have time to read all of the answers in detail. You better pick one fast. And that's what I love about it. It's not a game where you sit there and ponder, what's the best answer here? Or, let me really think about this answer before I give the answer. No, you can't do that. The game is happening in real time. Okay, there is no time to sit there and think about your freaking answer. Like, it's realistic too. If you're having a conversation with somebody, they're not going to sit there and wait 30 minutes. Like, hey, Alex, what time is it? And you sit there, let me think about that for about 15 hours. Let me put the game on pause. There is no time to do that. And if you don't select an answer, your answer is the fourth invisible options, because you get 3 options for every answer. And there's hundreds of them, right? You're playing through it the whole game. If you don't select one, the fourth one is automatically selected, the invisible option, which is that you did not answer the question. And the characters will respond to that. They will say, oh, you did not answer. For example, there was a time when I had to select which character I wanted to go to a certain area of the island to solve a certain mystery that we were solving or certain task that we were going to do. And they said, who do you want to go with? Alex, who do you want to go with? And I could select one of 3 options. And I didn't know which one. And I couldn't there wasn't enough time. It didn't give me enough time. I didn't know who to select. I was panicking. I just needed a couple more seconds. Maybe I would have selected Nona. And the game carried on and said, one of the characters responded, Alex doesn't want to answer that question because Alex doesn't want to hurt. And it's obvious that Alex doesn't want to hurt any of our feelings, so she's not answering the question. Which was partially correct, actually. I was taking a little bit long to answer because depending on your answers and these conversations that happen, you are gaining favor with each of these characters or losing favor. You're building friendships or tearing down friendships. And that could affect the ending that you get. I've been playing the game. I haven't beat it yet, but I've been really enjoying it. So the game does encourage multiple playthroughs. I plan to play through it at least twice, probably. I play it before I go to sleep. It helps me to go to sleep. It is a bit of a horror. There are some horror elements, paranormal activity going on. I can't reveal too much of the story, but the gist of it is you are visiting an abandoned island. It used to be a military base. And there are rumors that many people are aware of on this island. Like it's a common place that tourist location. People go to the island to visit the abandoned military bases. It's a tourist destination. And on that island, there's various sightseeing activities, but it's also kind of known, there's some rumors going around that if you go into the caves, there's some strange caves on the island. And if you go into these caves and you bring your radio and you tune in to different frequencies at different locations, you will hear some very strange things that shouldn't be there because there's no broadcast going on to that frequency. Some paranormal activity may or may not occur. That's the gist of it. And it's so good, it did receive a couple of awards and was nominated for many others. But the story is so good that they were going to turn it into a movie. The movie was since canceled, but the reason Netflix likely bought these guys out is because they're turning it into a TV series. I don't know how quickly or when that will come out, but it was announced in 2021 that it was going to get turned into a TV series instead of a movie. So I'm really enjoying this one. I will have it beat within the next day or two because I'm pretty close to the end. And it can be scary at times. Mostly it's just if it is going to scare you, it's a jump scare. I was playing with headphones in, and when a big paranormal activity occurs, horror event happens, they'll hit you with a loud noise that you weren't expecting and kind of get a jump scare going. But yeah, there's some crazy stuff going on. I really don't want to tell you anything because it will ruin the surprise. So we got a couple of rare games today. Too many, actually. Horizon Chase Turbo. This game, double-sided cover, just so you know. So there's 2 variants floating out there, but it is a double-sided cover. So that this is the daytime cover in the back, and this is the nighttime cover. It really doesn't matter which cover you get, in case you are looking into purchasing this game. This game is out of print. I don't think they're going to be reprinting it. It's starting to creep up in value. We'll see, Nintendo Switch is still relatively new. It hasn't been replaced by a newer generation Nintendo console yet, but I've noticed the price creeping up, and I had to pay up higher than retail price to get my own copy. And I think part of the reason for that is when Horizon Chase Turbo number 2 was released last year, I think a lot of people went fishing for the original. That's just a theory of mine. I have this game on PC. I bought it a long time ago. It's not very often that I buy a PC game, but at the time, there was no physical copy. And I wanted the game so bad that I was willing to play it on PC, and I hate playing games on PC. This is a 16-bit style, modern version, heavily upgraded version of, basically it's a spiritual successor, spiritual sequel to Top Gear on the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. Or Lotus, that type of racing game. Top Gear would be your main comparison. I made a review video about this. I'll put up some clips of that as well. That was one of my earlier YouTube videos that I made. I loved the game so much. It was a passion project of mine. I made a review video, and I gave it highly favorable scores. The music alone, I will tell you this. The music alone automatically gives the game a 10 out of 10. It has a very famous soundtrack. They got a very famous composer to write that soundtrack. If you're in, a jam with some other cars, it's just not going to be feasible to get the gas canister and still get first place. It doesn't just end at fuel though. You will need to collect the extra nitro boosts on each level as well. Unless you're a crazy good driver, then maybe you can get away with not getting them. But keep in mind, it's easy to miss both the fuel and the nitro. They are not exactly laid out in perfect locations, and it's very easy to miss them.
But wait! There's more!
In order to unlock all of the bonus content like new cars, you will also need to collect all of the silver tokens.
But wait! There's more!
Not only do you also need to collect all of the tokens, you have to do all of this while still managing to come in first place.
But wait! There's more!
And the tokens, like the gas and the nitro, are not always placed in the most convenient lane. Needless to say, the replayability for this game is high, meaning you will be racing the same track over many times until you master and memorize the locations for the silver coins, nitro, and the fuel canisters. The World Tour is no joke. It will take some time to complete everything, especially if you want all of the unlockables. But is that really a bad thing? How many other retro-style racers had this much content? You really do get your money's worth here, and I'm telling you, you can easily sink over 40 hours of gameplay here. This game may be fun, but you're still gonna get some good, solid rage moments in it. So, this is starting to become a little bit of a rare game. I'm just going to throw that out there. I've witnessed the price creep up. It's continuing to creep up, and it's getting harder and harder to get your hands on a copy. Maybe in the future, people will sell off all their copies and it'll become cheap. But that ain't happening yet. It ain't happening yet. People are holding on to this game. In fact, I think a lot of collectors like me are never going to sell this game. It's got rare game potential written all over it. Cult classic following written all over it. One of the best racing games ever made, written all over it. You thought Need for Speed Most Wanted for the Xbox 360? You thought that was an expensive game? $100 plus Canadian dollar game? Last I checked. CIB. You don't think this can go 100 plus? Canadian dollar, CIB, I paid like $54.99 on Amazon, and even that was above retail. Let me pull up the real retail price right now. I'll show you what you used to be able to get it for, but you didn't want to buy it back then. And I would have bought it back then, but I also screwed up because I didn't think it was going to sell out so fast. So I made the same mistake you did, buddy. You could have got this game for $39.99 brand new. That was retail Canadian dollar price. What is that, like $29.99 US dollars? Maybe $34.99 US dollars, one of the two. Hell, it was probably $30 in US. Not a bad deal for one of the best racing games ever made. Tons of cars, you travel around the world. If you beat the game, you unlock a super secret that I'm not going to tell you about if you unlock everything. Oh, look at this. Legendary composer. Industry icon Barry Leitch is responsible for dozens of classic game soundtracks, including Lotus Turbo Challenge, Top Gear, and the Rush series. Oh, that's right. He did San Francisco Rush. That's incredible. And now he's returned to grace us with another heart-stopping set of beats. Absolutely incredible. Metaloid Origin, a very, very cheap game. Red Art Games. Arguably cheap for a reason. But hey, cheap games can still be fun. If you haven't guessed by the cover, it's a Mega Man clone. It's the poor man's Mega Man. But it's unique. It tries to do things a little bit different than Mega Man. Some of it good, some of it bad. One, for example, there's 3 different characters that you can pick, and they're all unique. They all have unique skills and abilities. In Mega Man, you only get Mega Man. Sometimes you get to play as Zero, but for the most part, you get to play as Mega Man. And that's it. And in Mega Man X or standard Mega Man games, you run around and look for secrets in the levels and find storage tanks or new pieces of armor which unlock new abilities. Well, in this game, the same thing happens. One thing that's unique, though, that they did differently is instead of getting new skills or new powers from bosses, you don't get any new skills from beating bosses. Instead, you collect money throughout each of the levels, and you unlock skills and abilities with money, or abilities in particular, new power-ups. New powers you unlock with money. So there's a bit of grinding involved. Like an RPG, you will have to play the same level multiple times, but at the same time, you're going to be looking for secrets anyway. A little bit of grinding involved. Take that how you will. Other than that, the bosses are still similar. You have to find out what weapon of yours, assuming you have them all unlocked, etc. Usually they'll be weak to a certain type of weapon, and they can be quite difficult, but some people complain about the difficulty. But hey, Mega Man ain't easy either, buddy. I've always had to use cheats to figure out how to beat Mega Man, and by cheats I mean watch other people beat the bosses. I've never been able to beat the dang bosses without help, recognizing the patterns and whatnot. So I don't necessarily consider this game any harder than Mega Man. I've been playing it for a while. I haven't beat it. It gets really hard toward the end. You're going to need to grind for a lot of money, because money is also your lives to respawn at the same location that you died. So a lot of grinding involved, but very fun. A lot of replayability because there are 3 different characters. Cheap game. It's on sale right now, $19.99. I thought I'd throw that out there. You know, some people gave it bad reviews, but for a cheap game, if you're looking for something cheap and fun, this might be for you. Here it is right here. Metaloid Origin. It's on sale. I think that this is the new permanent price until they sell out, to be honest. It was always a cheap game. It used to be 30 Canadian dollars brand new. It's always been cheap. 9 levels. Collect Solarium to purchase new powers. That means money, the gems that you collect. Oh, multiple difficulty settings. I forgot about that. I'm on normal mode. Pretty good soundtrack. Yeah, I got no complaints with the soundtrack. Interesting game. I chose the Fire Girl. The one at the bottom here. Her powers are all fire. This guy over here is electricity. This girl here is like plasma, I guess. It's a short game. It's a budget game. If you're looking for a Mega Man fix, it might be something to give a go. So this is a really interesting game. This is a rhythm game. You can still get it cheap on eBay. I got this for $30 Canadian. I didn't get it on eBay. I got it in private auction group. Steal of a deal. But I did see a copy on eBay for under $50 Canadian. And there was some other cheap copies as well. Some super rare games, they go to like 200, 300 almost instantaneously, and others stay relatively cheap, meaning this is not sought after. But it's a unique game. I was really excited. So when I saw it come up in auction, I had never heard of it before. I didn't know anything about the game. But I got really excited. I looked up a review and I saw it's a rhythm game. But more importantly, it pays an homage to old school retro games. There's a lot of Easter eggs in this game. It's basically chiptune music, and each level is based on a different retro game, essentially. I mean, they basically in some cases, even the chiptune music copies original music from the original games. They get so close, they get as close as they can get to copying the music and the characters from the games, like Ninja Turtles and whatnot. They get as close as they can get without getting sued, especially music-wise. Either Nintendo or some of these companies don't know about it and are too lazy to sue them because it's not worth the time and the effort, or the songs are just different enough that they can't get sued. But I like it like that. There's 60 chiptune songs, and they're supposed to be really good. That was another reason why I got the game. I heard that all of the music is really, really good music. And I'm all about the music. I love chiptune music. I love video game music. My favorite genre of music is video game music. When I'm at work, working away, and by work I mean looking up the game prices, retro game, video game prices, and Nintendo Switch game prices. Well, my boss thinks I'm working, but I'm not actually working. I'm on eBay. I'm listening to video game music, and I'm always looking for casual games to play, exciting casual games, simplistic games. This game even has an easy mode. If you're not good at rhythm games, you're like, hey, that sounds pretty cool, but I'm not really good at rhythm games. Even easy ones, I'm not good at them. Okay, well, this game has an easy mode just for you. Or better yet, if you're playing the game and you get stuck at a level, you switch it to easy mode. And if I didn't already mention, this particular version, the physical version, has all of the DLC. That's what makes the physical version extra. It's a trip down memory lane. It'll give you a dose of nostalgia, hit you with some dopamine. It's good. It's going to give you flashbacks to TMNT, Metal Gear Solid, various RPGs, Zelda. I mean, they hit R-Type. They hit on a lot of different genres, and you'll know as you play through the levels, you'll be like, hey, I know what game you copied that from. And some of them are very obvious, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle one. It's like just a straight up, it's a friggin' Ninja Turtle. That's what it is, straight up copy. Other games, I'm actually not sure where they're pulling it from. Like some of the RPGs, I'm like, well, that could be kind of any number of different RPGs. I'm not sure exactly which one they're trying to reference, but other times it's extremely obvious. And the music matches the levels and the games that they're portraying as well. So it's not like you're not going to get RPG music with a run and gun. Okay, so all I'm saying, you might want to check that one out. And it is niche. It's a rhythm game. It's not for everyone, but I know there's a lot of people there that might be interested in this. And I think you could download it digitally as well. It's probably cheap, but the physical version can still be had for cheap today for those that are interested. for whatever reason, it's not popular. The price has been trending down to the point where you can get a copy right now for under $50. Or let's just say anywhere between 50 and 75 Canadian dollars, or is probably 50 to 80 on the high end. That's like your range on eBay right now. Anywhere from 50 to $80 Canadian, which ain't bad considering, what was it, 34.99 British pounds, brand new, plus you had to pay shipping. Buddy, the guy selling it for 50 on eBay right now, he's losing money. I don't know if it was brand new or open copy, because obviously brand new one will cost you a little bit more. But regardless, that guy's like, let's assume it's brand new. He's losing money on that. He's the guy who was probably hoping that this would go up in value, because a lot of super rare games do, but some of them don't. I bought Unrailed for a super rare game. I had some fun with it. I played it a couple times, but I was thinking recently actually that I don't really want it anymore. It's really not as fun as I thought it would be. I played it on 3-player. It was kind of fun to yell at each other, mining the ore and the building the tracks of the train and whatnot. But I don't know. I've been thinking about selling it, but at the same time, I got some fond memories with it. Thinking about it now, I'm starting to change my mind, but I have eyed it a couple times. It's not worth much because nobody wants it. It's not a popular game. Please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm trying to get to over 9,000 subscribers. On my way to collecting over 9,000 retro video games and Nintendo Switch games. I still haven't counted my games. I might even have over 9,000 now. I don't know yet. I still haven't counted them. I'm also going to have a link in the description below to my Horizon Chase Turbo review. Check that one out, as well as my Patreon link in the description. Shout out to Trevor, my legally insane Patreon supporter. Your support, everyone's support out there, all the subscribers, everyone who leaves a comment below, everyone who smashes the like button, your support keeps this channel going. So if you want to see more content, just let me know, and I'll keep making the content until I turn 69. I will keep making content until I'm on my deathbed as a 69-year-old man, because I did lose about 20 years off my lifespan from when I went to prison. Stress levels in prison were quite high. Selling up with Chocolate Thunder was not an easy time in my life. And it was very stressful. I feel like I lost about 20 years off my total lifespan from that experience. But I will keep making the videos until I turn 69 years old.
Rolling through the city with a pocket full of cash. Xbox 360, prices climbing fast. Got my eye on F-113, gonna cop it real quick. But I got to hustle hard, the prices are real. Yo, mom's the plug, she got the hook up, no lie. At the 7-Eleven dumpster, I buy and buy. Splatterhouse, Blue Dragon, got them in my stash. Buying red games from your mom, what I want, she has. Xbox 360, prices going up.